On the Fender bass from Los Angeles is Jerry Scheff. What do you want to play, Jerry? Want to play the blues? Thank you, Jerry.
Ich wünsche euch einen wunderschönen guten Morgen hier in Bad Nauheim in der Trinko-Anlage und darf euch ganz recht herzlich begrüßen heute zu diesem außergewöhnlichen und wunderbaren Event mit Jerry Scheff. Es ist toll, dass ihr alle gekommen seid. Wir haben uns sehr gefreut, dass die Resonanz so groß war auf unsere Einladung und erstmal, wie gesagt, eigentlich müsst ihr euch mal selbst applaudieren, dass ihr alle hier seid. Dann, gentlemen, now it's time to give stage to a very famous member of the TCB band and someone who is rarely seen in such events. So please give a warm welcome to Mr. Jerry Scheff.
Oh, thank you very much for coming. Ik ben sehr glücklich. Except for Das and and that's all the German I know, I'm sorry. Yeah, I lived in Berlin for 3 years, up until 2 years ago, and so I'm familiar with Germany. And I always love it, but I've never been here before. So this is a first for me. And this lady here is, she's going to interpret for me. And I never know what she's saying. She could be saying I'm a serial killer. And I wouldn't know it, right? Yeah.
Well, I think they all supervise me, so they will tell you if I tell them something wrong. So yeah, don't worry. Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm just joking. But yeah, so you know, I want to tell you some stories. And that's what I do now, and. The first thing that people want to know usually is how I met Elvis and how I went to work for Elvis. Over here.
Yeah. No, it's your stage.
Come on over here.
Okay.
So the first thing I have to tell you is I was the only Northern American in the TCB band. They call us Yankees. So I grew up just outside of San Francisco, California.
Oh, wow. Aufgewachsen ist tatsächlich in San Francisco.
And I listened to black music on the radio when I was 13 years old, and I loved black music, blues and rhythm and blues. Years later, I moved to Los Angeles and became a studio musician. I played on people's records. And I didn't like Elvis Presley. I thought he was a white guy trying to sound black.
Hatte den Eindruck, dass es ein weißer Junge war, der einfach so klingen wollte, als wenn er schwarz sei.
So I was at home with my partner at that time, maybe, and I got a phone call, and it was from James Burton, who called me. And so he said, we are putting together a band here in the studio in Los Angeles, and we'd like you to come down tomorrow and play with us. And I said to my partner, I said, you're not going to believe this. They want me to come down and play with Elvis Presley. And she said, oh, you're kidding, because she didn't like him either. So I said, well, I'm not doing anything tomorrow. I'm going to go down and see what he's like. You know, I wanted to meet him. You know. So I walked into the rehearsal studio, and I had on sandals and long hair. Nobody had in his group had long hair at that time. And I had a t-shirt on, like a hippie. So anyhow, this man was sitting way across the room, and he got up, and he had beautiful clothes, dressed very well, and he came walking across the room, and I realized it was Elvis Presley. And I thought he would be and have all this flamboyant clothes and stuff on me. So he came over and he stuck his hand out. I shook his hand, and he said, Jerry. And I said, yes. And he said, thank you for coming down to play with us. And I thought, this is not what I expected, you know. He was really, really lovely and right in my face. So I said to him, I don't know any of your songs, Elvis.
Und Jerry sagte dann zu Elvis, also ich kenne kein einziges Lied von dir.
And he said, can you play the blues? And I said, yes. And he said, let's go play some blues. So we went up, and the drummer got up there to play. It wasn't Ronnie Ted yet, but the drummer got up there to play. And we played some blues, and he turned around and he hired me to come work with him. My hair stood up on my arms, and I thought, wow, this is real. There's something here. I'm learning something here, you know. So I went home and told my ex-wife that I was going to work for Elvis Presley, and she said, "You're kidding me."
Und als nach Hause kam, just give me a chance. Also als nach Hause kam, hat zu seiner damaligen Frau gesagt, also ich werde jetzt für Elvis Presley spielen. Und seine Frau hat gesagt,
so I said to her, I said, you come down tomorrow and meet him and listen to him and tell me what you think. So she came down the next day for the rehearsal. We started rehearsal, and she walked out of there an Elvis Presley fan. And that was how I met Elvis, and he was a really nice man and very good to me the whole time I was with him. And he was not a bigot. He was just a really good-hearted man to work with. So that's it.
okay, you started out with Elvis, and you just said that Elvis was always good to you. He had.
In my opinion, what made him so great was that when he sang a song, he had the the words, the story from the song and the emotions would come through his brain and then go down into his heart and come out his mouth. And he'd create a direct contact with the audience, with you. And he had that. People say Frank Sinatra had that, but he didn't. Elvis had that more than anybody I ever saw. He could connect with audiences just like that, you know. And people would just sit there and go like they were hypnotized, you know, and sing. And that's what. And there's. I was interviewed by a American television coast-to-coast television show, and this woman, she was very well known in the United States, and she came out and she said, "Can you tell what was it like playing with Elvis?" And I would say, did you have a special moment in time in mind? You know, because how do you answer that? You know, I mean, it's just that there's so many things within a show. So many times things change and get good, and so you can't answer. I can't answer the fact that, you know, what's the best moment. And I thought it would be really fun to come and talk to some people in the fan club. And I've enjoyed this very much. And thank you.
Thank you, Jerry.